Get ready, fighters! A Rome himself production is coming your way!
What's up guys, long time no see, but before we catch up I need to talk to you about a very special event this weekend. The SNK World Championships is finally here. It'll be taking place at the Avalon Bardo in Hollywood, California. 30 players from around the world have qualified through various global and regional qualifier spots to get them that golden ticket to fame. That's what I want to talk about, guys. All 30 of those players, just to shed a light on their paths and their glory, you know, talk about their travels through the highways and byways of qualifying and getting those spots. Think of this as a bit of a viewer's guide per se, or something like an open book test for SNK fans and literally any and everyone who's a fighting game fan, you know, just to help them get acclimated with the current standings. In addition to the 30 qualified players, there will also be a last chance qualifier on Friday with 2 spots up for grab and a standard double elimination bracket, and it's already capped at 128 entrants. In fact, the entire schedule for the World Championships will be the LCQ on Friday, top 32 through top 16 on Saturday, and then Sunday will be the top 16 all the way through the finals of top 8 where we crown our champion. You can find the stream link on the official SNK social media channels, but if you want, I'll link them in the description below so you can just grab them from there. About that LCQ, guys, there's so many killers from around the world involved in it. I'm just gonna rattle off a few names. You got KR Paco, CDM Johnny, Chris, Wedo Asamiya, who's had an incredible run and for some reason has not able to qualify yet, EC Yurikov, Rockland Keel, Chino Funky, Score, Kaiser 666, Lao Yagami, Peterin, and even your boy Rome himself. It's gonna be a massacre, guys, but the only unfortunate thing is that 2 of those players will make it out. Everyone else is just simply gonna be defeated. Before we jump into the complete 30 players, I wanna say thank you for watching the video and drop a subscription if you desire. It would mean a lot to me. Now let's go. All right, coming in first, we're starting this off with possibly the final boss of this entire tournament, Xiao Hai. Dude has been the main character of KOF 15 since its inception, and he's going into this more or less untouchable, just devouring opponents and winning almost every tournament he's entered. I mean, if you think about it, the biggest storyline in this tournament is if Xiao Hai is going to win, and if not, who the hell is going to defeat him? He definitely took some time off for a bit to focus on another fighting game, but I mean, since then he's locked in. He's right back at it again. He's back at the top, you know, trouncing his peers and just being the Xiao Hai that we know of old. And for that, SWC could be his magnum opus, as if he wins this, he will be the first ever KOF Triple Crown winner. He's already won both Evo Prime and Evo Japan in 2023, so I guess the last question is, can it be done? Can Xiao Hai be taken down, or will all of his opponents be nervous? Of course, how can I mention Stone Cold Steve Austin and not mention The Rock? The Rock in this case being E.T., the Taiwanese god himself, who was also a former Evo champion. E.T. is just always there, man. If you look at any big bracket, he's just always in the mix. Always one of those safe picks for winning, if not guaranteed top 3. The guy has just been one of the most dominant KOF players consistently, and one of the few on the very tiny list of players that can give Xiao Hai some trouble. Interesting enough, a few days ago actually, him and Xiao Hai ran a set in which he lost to him initially 7-0. But then the next day, immediately the next day, they ran another first of 7 and he defeated Xiao Hai 7-2. So he's keeping things very, very close. While I can't see the future, I definitely expect ET to place in an upper bracket and ruin a lot of runs. Man, the hits keep coming. Next up, we have yet another former Evolution champion and Mad KOF. Let's talk about someone who's had a bit of a shaky start in the KOF 15, but has quickly became arguably top 3 in this current meta. Mad KOF qualified through Rev Major 2023, and then from there just started to win various other majors, looking like the Mad KOF of old, you know, the KOF 13 Mad KOF. He has a very strong competitive mindset. He's definitely not one to conform, right, and falter despite how rough the situation might be and how things might go down. Funny enough, we had a joke in the KOF community recently. We were calling this the Mad KOF patch because like all 5 of his characters just got juiced up. He's bringing one of the first discovered geese that's flanked by Hydern and Clark. Just a team built to break your mind so he could just move in rent-free, put his leg up on the couch, stretch out a little bit, and win. I don't know about you guys, but this might be the crowning achievement for one of Korea's finest. Tamago, Tamago, Tamago. Tamago is a player that you never, and I mean never ever bet against. He's harding with being one of the premier standouts in Mexico, which as you know is one of the most prolific and strongest countries in all of KOF history. He had a strong start with the game, winning both Combo Breaker and CEO 2022 back-to-back and placed in top 25 at EVO that same year. We've seen him dominate even some of his fellow countrymen, but I'm ready to see how he stacks up against a lot of the contenders from around the world. I want to see him against Asia. I want to see him against Germany. I want to see him against Australia. I want to know if they're going to be ready for his aggressive playstyle with that rock, but specifically from that Blue Mary, since she's not a common pick despite everyone knowing how strong she is. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't immediately go into the next competitor who earned their spot by defeating Tamago, and that of course is Yurez. Formerly known as Your Sayer Man, what a dope gamer tag that is. I can confidently say that one of the many wildcards in this World Championships will definitely be this man. I got to commentate his qualifying match and I was very impressed with how he defeated Tamago and everyone else so decisively. Kinda made it look free. I mean, he only lost like one set entirely in that grand finals. Once again, that just shows how populated Mexico is with just killers in the KOF game and how some of these unknown killers actually have their chance to become the world champion. Speaking of Mexico, you know I had to go to my boy Violent Kane next. Probably one of the biggest fan favorites of this entire event. Violent Kane always dazzles with his consistent play and adaptations. VK usually runs protagonist characters, so expect to see Kyo, Yori. Lately I know he's been locking in Rio, but he's got the Rock Howard as well. He could always bring out Terry, which he doesn't do often, but it would be kind of fun if he did. One thing VK has over a lot of his Mexican peers though is that he usually travels a lot more than them. So he's get a bit more of that World Warrior experience, playing in all types of brackets all around different coasts and different time zones. So he's well prepared. He's been on the big stage before as well. I mean, hell, if you remember during the KOF 14 Neo Geo World Tour, it was actually Violent Kane who eliminated Xiao Hai, and according to ET, thanked him and made the bracket. ET's words was he made the bracket a lot easier for everyone. So, I mean, it could definitely happen. VK is that dude. He might be able to take down Xiao Hai yet again and win this entire tournament, but only time will tell. Inferno Kong. Yo, let me tell you about the homie Inferno Kong. He hails from the United Kingdom and dude's bringing one of the sickest teams you've ever seen. My man's just rocking Rugal, but hold on, it gets a little better. He's got Dinosaur. And to blow your mind completely, a little spit in that. To blow your mind completely, my man is running Antonov on Anchor as well. You can count on probably one hand the amount of times you've seen Antonov used in the upper echelon of a bracket. The cool thing too is that he's been piloting both KOD and Antonov since the KOF 14 days, so he's got a lot of tenure and legacy with this team. One cool thing about KOF in general actually is that, at least I feel this, even the low tiers have some sauce to them. They're not just plain out useless, right? You look at characters like Ramon, Antonov, maybe not Darlie Dagger, but there's characters like that where like even they have knowledge checks and you can use them, especially in a field like this where a lot of your opponents is going to be too busy practicing against Geese and Isla and Benimaru. I think characters like these actually have a really good chance at throwing them off. Plus you put a pilot like Inferno Kong behind that and you might very well see some of your favorites fall to his frenzied style. I just need the homie to have a little bit more confidence in himself. F-Kang, or as I like to call him, Kang the Conqueror, definitely has to be feeling confident in himself right now. After many crushing top 4 placings, he finally got his qualifier spot at the last chance, which was Frosty Faustings. Feeling of grinding and getting so close and then ultimately achieving your goal has to be pure serenity for him, but now it's where the big boys play. Kang's a very tactical player too. I mean, he runs multiple characters for any situation. I would say that his one true love, the one mainstay on his team, is gonna be Shizuru, and his Shizuru is definitely one of the best. As of this moment, he's the sole Brazilian player in the bracket, but depending on how the LCQ goes, he might be joined by some of his fellow countrymen, and to that, I say Bora. Ooh, this guy. This is someone I think we all need to keep our eyes on. Kami Jones. My Romastradamus radar goes off crazy with this one. Kami Jones is from Pakistan, and if you take a quick look at Liquipedia, you'll see nothing but dubs. First place winnings across the board, defeating players like a Wise Honey, and winning the Saudi Fighting League to qualify over HSN. The scary part is that there's actually not much footage around on YouTube. I tried to look some up, and I couldn't find much. Mostly just the tournament that he qualified to win in. But looking at his team of Shizuru, Dolores, and Kukri, you can tell there's definitely a zoning and controlling aspect to his style of play, which is a very common regional style actually. When you think about it, a player like Arslan Ash runs a very similar style team with just kind of controlling that space and just having dominant neutral. Keep your eyes peeled on this one, guys, I'm serious. Hey, it's my good friend Lacid, one of the kindest KOF players you'll ever meet, but don't mistake his kindness for weakness. This guy can get it done. Lacid's another one of those guys that's always in the mix when he travels. Top 6 consistently, upper placing, only losing really to his peers. He's also been playing the same team since release, so he's got a great deal of experience with them. Normally I'd be a big fan of just saying, yo, you gotta run the meta, but Lacid is so good at being defiant against that meta. His Meten and Shermie plus the Ashe is nothing to sneeze at. This SWC win though, it can mean so much for Lacid. He's had some really bad losses against some of the best players in top 8s. I mean, if you guys watched EVO 2023, he got top 6 and then he just kind of got destroyed after that. Had some bad combos drop, just Didn't seem like he was really all there. But look, bro, I know Korea, as well as a lot of us in America, are cheering for you, man, so good luck. Next up, we got X, and goddamn, that boy looked dapper in that photo, right? Sace qualified pretty early, actually. He was one of the people that qualified still when the meta was like Cronin, BJNA, Kill, and in fact, he actually qualified, I think with those three, if not, definitely Cronin and Kill. So the fortunate thing about him is that he's been consistently traveling as well, but he hasn't had the stress of competing for the qualifier spot, which I'm sure has helped him out. While everyone else is stressing and, you know, trying to make sure their combos are clean, he's just there for intel. He's just there to learn his opponent's movements and potentially see, okay, who's the next guy that's going to be in this bracket that I got to watch out for. Let's see if he can take what he's learned from his travels and apply it here where it's going to matter most. You know, now he's bringing in broken ass Isla, broken ass Rio, all of that backed by just hardened, solid KOF fundamentals. So best be on your A game when you're stepping to him. Speaking of fundamentals, the player with the most honest fundamentals in this tournament, Mr. Cofero Ernesto, aka Layek. Ernesto is an exceptionally strong player, no doubt, and he brings some unorthodox characters in his arsenal. He's one of the very few Orochi Chris and Rugal players here, as well as running Yamazaki, Genitz, and actually one of the OG Rio players way back in the KOF 14 days. Layek actually qualified by eviscerating Lokov 3-0 at AnimeCon back in December. And if you watch any of the online events from TNS or Firestrike or Just Frame or La Gemma, you definitely know that Lokov is one of the strongest players in all of Mexico. For Ernesto to just beat him 3-0 defiantly like that is definitely telling you that this guy is on one. I've seen him against a lot of Mexico. Now I'm ready to see Layek and how he deals with Asia. We have Dai representing Germany. He qualified through the Fighters Fest event. He's a player I'm unfamiliar with, but that could be a good thing. As a KOF commentator, I try to study up on everyone, but sometimes there's just not much footage of them. And in Dai's case, that could be strong, right, for the player. If there's not much footage and your opponents can't study you, they can't have you as an advantage. Whereas all of these other players in the bracket have been traveling around the world, constantly playing a lot in these online tournaments, so you just have your pickings of which footage you want to watch and study from. He's playing Geese, Mary, and Iori, but I hope he's ready for the barrage of Islas, Benny, Sylvie, Shizurus, etc., that he's going to have to run into. This could indeed be a diamond-making moment from the young player from Germany. Talking about making a big splash, we got El Rosa, master of the dinosaurs draped in red. It's good to see him back after taking time off competing and focusing on his personal life. Mans came back showing us that he's still got it, and still not to be trifled with by winning NEC over Yurikov. El Rosa is a grappler specialist and has some of the gnarliest setups. This guy has got mix-ups for days. You are never safe when waking up on that giant ass dinosaur. So if you're one of his opponents, I hope you like flipping coins and guessing, because if you guess wrong, your ass gonna be flipping burgers. Quick show of hands, how many of y'all here are familiar with Toshi's work? Shit, let me tell you, Toshi is one of the strongest players to represent Peru and have been in KOF for years and years. Well known for their Kensu play in games like KOF 2002 and KOF 14. I used to study Toshi a lot, especially in the KOF 14 days. I was imitating a lot of the Kenso play, trying to play like them because they was just so smooth with it. Their screen control and dominating zoning style, man, it was just so good. Finding out Toshi was qualified was hype, but look at that team. No Kenso in this game, obviously, but we're running Kula, Mai, Athena, and sometimes even Robert. A literal team of characters in the SNK World Championships that are only one of, and Toshi has the most of them. None of these characters are considered meta in particular, so you can tell that Toshi definitely had to climb a tough hill in order to qualify. Now let's see how they do. We got Chen Chen representing Australia. Another player who's got some great results, winning OZ Hado to qualify for the SWC and winning Battle Melbourne 3 times in a row. That's kind of godlike. I'm not as familiar with Australia's scene, but it's very much telling, according to his Wikipedia, that he is like arguably their best player. I mean, he's got victories over Bob Custard, over Dark Chaotix. He even defeated Korea's own Chanel one time when Chanel traveled out there for an event. He's another Geese and Iori enjoyer, so let's see if that Australian flavor can showcase his talents and they become fruitful for him in the SWC. We move on to yet another wild card killer in this tournament, and that is the pride of Peru, the Geo. Geo is one of the few players that technically won 2 qualifying tournaments, with one of the spots going to Toshi. I use the term wildcard because I think some American viewers may not be privy to like the talent he has, right? There's some people who still might be unaware of what he can do. You know, maybe not keeping up with all of Peru, but we actually talk about him quite often in the KOF Discord. He's definitely a guy that we always put in high regard, and you guys are gonna find that out soon enough. He's the solo Yuri in his bracket, and he brings a wealth of dominance and conditioning with her like no other. I know I've been kind of saying this about a few people, but trust me, this is another guy that you really need to keep your eyes on. He's had a damn near perfect KOF season, only getting second place in 1 tournament and that was to this man, ZJZ. ZJZ seems to be back in top form. He had a strong first year, winning Evolution 2022, and even got second place to Shanghai at EVO Japan 2023. But after that event, he seemed to suffer some pretty big losses. He actually got 9th through 16th place in a lot of events. Didn't even crack top 8. Hell, the East Asia Winter Online Tournament, he actually went 0-2. You heard that, right? 0-2. An EVO champion going 0-2 in the bracket. That just goes to show you like how stacked Asia is. It's not a him problem. It's just that everyone else around him was just on their game that day. Since the end of last year though, he's found his footing again, and he will no doubt be one of the most fiercest competitors in this SNK World Championships. Yoon Woo, representing China, he qualified getting 3rd place next to ZJZ, as the Tournament Fight Club Century Battle actually gave out 2 spots, so that was cool. Yoon Woo's solid, man. He's running about 5 characters, 2 of them being Shunei, who's quickly becoming a top 3-point character, and Sylvie, who's arguably becoming a top 3 anchor. He's gonna have to cut his teeth though when it comes to his pairs, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he stacks up versus Mexico and against a lot of the other solo countries. I can almost see him as a bit of a gatekeeper type in this bracket, where it's like, if you can't beat me, how do you expect to fight other players like ET, like Mad KOF, like Shanghai, like Lasset, like all these other players from Asia? If you can't even get through me, how are you gonna get to them? Only time will tell though. Let's see how you perform. Alright, so now's the time where I say, if you're a KOF diehard and you're watching this video, you're probably wondering to yourself, hey Rome, when are you gonna mention her? When are you gonna bring up my goddess, Rome? When are you gonna do it? Alright. I'm done edging y'all. Let's talk about Sua. Sua is straight up an enigma. You might have seen some of her clips making the rounds on social media where she acts out the moves of her characters, like throwing a pillow around like Orochi Yashiro or making the noises like Chris. Sua's got all that energy, man. She brings all types of hype and glamour to KOF. I could stop right here and just tell you to check out her captivating streams, but I would not be doing her justice with how she single-handedly might be one of the biggest bracket demons. Just listen to this name of talent that she's placed higher than last year. Lagia, Score, RB, and even ET. The latter of who's considered the second favorite to win this entire thing, so just imagine that. I was even taken back when I've seen some of her performances because she doesn't really enter a lot of tournaments, so for me I just thought, you know, she was someone who just streamed a lot and had a lot of fun and just beat on randoms online, but that's clearly not the case. Sua is definitely at the top of her game. The cherry on top, of course, is her team, as she's a firm believer in the Orochi religion, and she runs the entire Orochi team. She's been running all these characters literally in every KOF game that they're in, so she's definitely just a diehard fan of them. Her Chris in particular is a sight to behold. She plays him in such an obnoxious, annoying way that you're just bound to get frustrated chasing him around trying to pin him down. And once 2 of your characters are already gone by him, her Orochi Yashiro and Shermie just come out to pick the bones. Anyways, good luck to Sua and her fans, and I hope I've done her well. We got next up we got Koopa. Hey, yo, they let Mario villains up in the SWC. That's kind of OD. Jokes aside though, Koopa definitely not a name to be taken lightly. You know, he's just another one of those Mexican stalwarts who's just ferocious at any KOF he touches. He qualified through Thunderstruck, which is no easy feat. That's like legitimately one of the strongest tournaments in any KOF, right? All throughout the years, Thunderstruck has been praised highly for its just skill level, the skill barrier. And just the fact that it takes place obviously in Mexico, where like all the strongest players kind of just gather around like it's Southtown. So like I've said with many others, he's just another player that I'm looking forward to seeing how he stacks up against a lot of the other players he's not familiar with, just to see how the styles clash. I hope he comes prepared though. This is definitely one of his first outings outside of Mexico, so I want to know if he'll be able to compete, I should say, with the bright lights on him. Next up we have Kitsune971, formerly known as Fox. I've always been a big fan of Kitsune's, even going back to the KOF 13 days when he was cooking fools with Chin. He even got top 8 at EVO once in KOF 13, just to show you how strong of an opponent he actually is. Kitsune, he qualified through UFA. He actually defeated Bublon in possibly one of the closest Grands Final sets for an SWC spot. Definitely go watch it when you get a chance. It was down to the wire, last game, last character, bracket reset into 3-2. It was nuts. Literally could have been one of those guys, but Kitsune showed that he wanted them more that day. Other than that, I'm curious to see how far a team like his backed by Yamazaki can go and if it can take him to the promised land. Hey, we finally made it to the one and only qualified American player in this bracket. My man Core Values, formerly known as Soul Chris. He's another guy I got to watch in person win. You know, he won in incredible fashion at Lunar Bout, the regional qualifier that we had in Brooklyn, which I was very, very proud of. Shout outs to the Lunar Phase boys. Let me tell you something though. This man is a troll, bro. He's got the nerve to be playing Vanessa and Nakaru in the same team, But, you know, he is flanked by his legacy Clark. That team might sound a little unorthodox, a little wild to you, but he's definitely got some of the strongest conditioning skills and will pretty much force you to play things his way. I mean, his playstyle can convince a bird to buy wings, you feel me? Hoping he's taking his training seriously though. I know he's been on some other games. So Soul Chris, we're looking forward to your run. Logia, there it is, the young man from Japan. Talk about someone with a strong presence and a threat to the SNK World Championship crown. If I'm not mistaken, this dude is only in his like mid-20s, bro. He's still young. I mean, they used to call him the Prodigy for a reason. Back in the KOF 14 days when he was like super young and coming up, he was just being a menace to players like Xiao Hai. Even at one point, I think Xiao Hai lost to him like 3 tournaments in a row. Funny enough, a few days ago with the ET set, Xiao Hai actually also ran a 1st-7 with Logia as well, and it was 7-6, just a very, very close set again. Logia still believes in Point Yashiro, and I think that's going to help him out a lot. If you watch some of the matches he's been in recently, you could tell that he is very well acclimated with the Geese and Isla matchup, and I think for that alone, he's going to go a long way in this tournament. Wonkov is, he's traditional as they come. Just a strong sense of legacy KOF fundamentals and assertions of his opponent's playstyle. He actually qualified over Rockland Kill at the First Attack event in Puerto Rico, which was a pretty decisive finish, which I think it did catch some of us off guard. You know, Rockland Kill was, you know, he was playing very strong. He had a very impressive season. I mean, he also defeated Reynolds that year at DreamHack, which is a really, really big deal. On-call enters just about everything as well. You'll see him in a lot of these online and offline tournaments getting various top 8 placements. And I think that alone is a testament to his strength and also his matchup knowledge. You know, playing a lot, especially online, will give you access to all of these different characters that you don't see often. And then just playing at the higher levels at these offline events, you tend to run into more of the top tiers. So he's got like kind of a best of both worlds thing going on. That being said, go get him one. Oh look, it's my favorite fruit, pineapple. Another force of nature from Asia, specifically Hong Kong. Pineapple always has a bit of a different swag to him and the characters that he decides to choose. In KOF 14, he ran Oswald, Hein, and Zarina, but now he's rocking Shune, Yamazaki, and Genitz. All solid picks, but again, they're underrepresented here at the SNK World Championships, so unfamiliarity is always family to me. He's all gas and no breaks with this team, but will he be ready for the competition ahead? Also, shout outs to him, man. I see he's one of the few players that flew in early so he could soak in that California sun, get acclimated to the time zone switch, and get his mind right for this bracket. Here we have Moke, and man, I like Moke. He's someone I'm actually rooting for low-key. He has an expressive personality, and you see that with his character choices like Kukri. Moke qualified through the fighter spirit, getting 2nd place to Lasset, who had already qualified. Lasset's been he's been kind of a demon for him in these brackets. Lost to him a few times. Maybe this could be the event where he finally takes down Lasset and a lot of those other top players that he's been getting very close to in these events, but just dropping short by a game or two. Also, he's a fellow commentator just like myself, so you know we got you, bro. We looking out for you. Good luck, Moke. So unfortunately, these next 2 players, they may or may not come due to visa issues. Dark Angel, sadly, he got his visa revoked and he was unable to find another way to be able to travel. And I'm gonna keep it real. I think Dark Angel definitely had a strong chance at winning this whole thing, if not getting top 4. If you've kept up with him, if you've seen the events he's entered, again, this would be his first tournament kind of traveling over to the States, but for what he does in Mexico consistently throughout the week and these online tournaments, Dark Angel is often the final boss of them. And I would have loved to see just how cantankerous the combustion that is Dark Angel could do in a bracket like this with best players around the world, but you know, it is what it is. For Frieza though, it seems that it's still a 50-50. He might actually be able to come, but we're still not sure yet. Frieza's another 10-year player though from Morocco, and I know he was ready to make a splash for his people, and I still hope that there's a chance he can make it. He's got nothing but 1st and 2nd places, but this tournament will be a chance to introduce more people to the skill set that may or may not be initiated. If you check the stats, he's got so many 1st and 2nd places. I mean, he's arguably the strongest player from Morocco, and I really hope, praying that he's able to land here so he'd be able to make a splash and continue to just do really well for his people. At this moment though, we're not sure what happens if the players that are qualified are unable to make it, like if those spots go to the LCQ or if they go to other players or so, but I would just keep a look on SNK's social media, just keep a look and lock down on the event, and I'm sure they'll have some answers as far as what happens. And finally, the last player on this list goes to none other than the cocky samurai from Japan, M dash. And cocky, he has every right to be. One of those guys that if he's playing on point, he could very well beat your favorites. Hell, beat my favorites too. Looking at his results, you can see nothing but gold, man. First places all over, from KOF 14, now the KOF 15. I saved him for last actually because he's the only previous SNK World Championship in this bracket. He won the KOF 14 SNK World Championships in 2017. And there was not another World Championships. The next one was supposed to be 2019, but unfortunately because of COVID, that one got canceled. So this actually makes him the returning champion and possibly the only player that can become a 2-time SNK World Champion, in addition to already being an EVO champion. So man, M Dash coming in with just so many accolades, so much behind him, and a great chance to prove himself to once again be the best. But I'm just excited, y'all. It's time, man. We're just about here. And I'm ready to see all these gladiators step in to see who's going to be the one to stand atop of the Coliseum and deem themselves as immortal. That's it, folks. I hope that helped. I hope you guys now understand some of these players and their backgrounds. I did this all in one take. I'm tired. It's very late. A little under the weather as well, so forgive me if I sound kind of funny, but thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to share it with everyone you know. Let them know this weekend for sure. March 15th through the 17th, SNK World Championships. I'll be there, you guys be there, and we'll have a good time. I'll see y'all later.
That's all for now, fighters. But if you've enjoyed what you've seen, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow Rome's social media pages down below. Take care, see you next time, and most importantly, thank you for watching.